Hi, and welcome back to the Citizen channel and the World Cup update. After a couple of days rest on the old World Cup front, yes, we'll be looking at the quarterfinals today. A couple that played and a couple to come. So please join me. Yes, there will be a very slight sky blue tint to this one tonight. So yes, we have a goalkeeper on his way back. So at least as I'm recording this, I will finish the recording later when I've watched the second game. So yeah, please join me and please push that subscribe button, push the bell notifications. If you get a little chance, just push that little like button as well. Make an old City fan very, very happy. We try and do everything City, of course, past, present, forever. And little side issues, just little side things like this World Cup and stuff like that, where there's obviously a City interest. Right, let's talk about the games to be played rather than the games that have been played. Yeah, so before we look at the games played on the 9th of December, we're going to look forward to the last two quarterfinals on the 10th of December. Yes, 3 p.m. at the Al Thumama Stadium. We've got Morocco 40-1 to win the World Cup and 9-2 to win this game against Portugal, 6-1 to win the World Cup and 8-13 on to win this game, 13-5 the draw. So this is on ITV and STV. Can Portugal do what Spain were unable to do and breach that Moroccan defence, which is a pretty well-drilled unit? Not overly exciting, but it does what it does. And one thing is for sure, it'll be tougher than they found in the Swiss matchup for Portugal anyway. Morocco also looked very good on the break, which, again, the Swiss were a bit iffy, weren't they? Let's be honest about it. Morocco are pretty good at keeping clean sheets as well, so the same can't be said for Portugal. So it could be an interesting game. I mean, it could be a tight game. Won't be surprised if there is a surprise in this. I expect Portugal, though, to edge it after the performance they did put in last time. But I think they'll probably need the full 120 plus minutes to do it, although obviously... it's a bit nerve-wracking, but I do expect Portugal to get through. But hey, based on what I've seen so far today, who knows? Who knows? Well, that's my prediction. And on to the second game, of course, which is a heart and head job, isn't it? Al Bayt Stadium. France 9-2 favourites to win the World Cup. England 6-1. And, of course, France 13-10 to win this game. England 2-1. So France are the favourites. 9-4 the draw. This is also on ITV and STV. And many are building this as Mbappe versus England or Mbappe versus Walker. That's what it's being looked at. But I'm sure there's a few French players will have something to say about that. Should be a cracking game. If Southgate remains positive, if he remains positive, that's a big if, and we make France worry about us, Mbappe situation will be secondary to it because we'll can obviously that French defence isn't the greatest. If we try to defend, I think we're going to get beat. If we try to play the ball out from the back as poorly as we did against Senegal, then we will get beat. Be more sort of direct works. I'm not particularly thinking that as how we'll initially go, but we're going to have to be a lot better from the back. And we need to get the ball up to our midfielders and forward-thinking players as quick as possible. France are not the greatest at the back, so if England play positively and make France worry about us, then we can progress in this. But either way, I think it's going to be a very tense affair, and it could go either way. Extra time and pens perhaps again. The old dreaded pens. I think this one's too close to call. I'm not even going to make a prediction on this. Obviously, my heart will say England. My head will say get those English boys back to our place as soon as we can, but we'll see. I'm not gonna make a prediction on this one. Too close to call. Right, let's get on to the games played today. On the 9th of December, we had the 3 p.m. kickoff, Education City Stadium. Croatia 33-1 to win the World Cup. Did you put 50p on that? Brazil 15-8. Favourites to win the World Cup. Well, the bookies are quite happy, aren't they? Let's be honest about it. This game, Croatia were 8-1 in 90 minutes to win it. 4-11 Brazil in 90 minutes and 7-2 the draw. So, yeah, I thought the draw was a good option, actually. We had Michael Oliver in charge, a little bit of English interest. We had, of course, no Edison. He was on the bench for Brazil. We did get to see Danilo. He was fine. He got booked in this game. He was okay. He's all right. He is what he is, isn't he? 13 minutes, though. It's strangely enough, the first really good half chance fell to Croatia. Yeah, a couple of attackers. I think one miskicked it and the other one totally missed it. Had a great chance after 13 minutes. But then Brazil sort of settled down, and found the keeper a little bit too good. Although, having said that, most of it was at the keeper, and then obviously late on he made some good saves. But they just lacked that final touch. Brazil, and Croatia were having a go. They were, they were obviously not as they had as much possession as Brazil did. Just obviously not as forward thinking perhaps. And it was a fairly even game as both teams really sparred with each other that first 45 minutes. 47 minutes, almost an own goal as Brazil up the pace and the ball hits an arm in the build-up. But commentators, a bit of a misery, said he thought it might be given as a penalty, but I don't think there's any chance of that. But there's no monitor check, so that was fine. 66 minutes, the Croatia keeper blocks a great chance, and they say he did 2 or 3 in normal time and a couple in injury extra time as well. As Brazil tried to take charge of the game, but they couldn't force the ball home. Lots of chances again. I think they had 2 for every chance Croatia had. I think Brazil were having 2 or 3. But it ended 0-0 after 90 minutes. Extra time, more of the same in the first half. And then finally, Neymar does something which he'd been struggling most of the game. He picks up the ball. He don't play just 1-1-2 with somebody. He plays 2-1-2s. So, very good goal. Well taken. Superbly played. Rounds the keeper and puts it into the roof of the net. And then Brazil made the big mistake, really, of playing the final 15 minutes and trying to invite Croatia onto them. Croatia made a couple of substitutions. I think they had 4 strikers on at one stage, and it paid dividends, and Brazil paid the price with just 3 minutes left as Croatia equalised through Petkovic. Through a deflected shot that beat Alisson into the corner, so it finished 1-1. The XG for 90 minutes was Croatia 0.4, Brazil was 1.73, and the XG for 120 minutes was Croatia 0.62 and Brazil 2.72. So some good keeping, some basic keeping, and just some good defending really from Croatia. And to the pens, well, 4 pens from Croatia, all in the net. So, you're going to struggle, aren't you? Brazil missed the first, it was saved. Then he scored penalty 2 and 3. Neymar was obviously stepping up for the 5th penalty, but he didn't even get that far, did it? Because obviously by the 4th penalty at the post, and Croatia, who seem to be a bit of masters at this penalty taking, don't they? I think they did well in the last World Cup as well. Got through, so well done. All credit to Croatia. Yes, Brazil were possibly on the day the better team, but they paid the price for that going defensive in the second part of injury time, extra time. So all credit to Croatia, and they're quite chuffed, and the World Cup favourites are out, and we wait now and we go on to the second quarter final to see who they're going to play. So the 7 p.m. kickoff at the Lusail Stadium, another interesting game to say the least. Netherlands 14-1 to win the World Cup, and Argentina 6-1 win the World Cup, lined up against each other. Netherlands were 13-5 to win this game. Argentina were 6-5 and 21-10 the draw. So not a lot of value in that, but if you had it, well done. Yeah, so a very tentative start. Not a lot happening on the pitch. Certainly, it got more interesting as the game wore on. But on 35 minutes, Messi slid the ball through, and Molina pokes it past the keeper, and it's 1-0 from nothing really. Holland hadn't, or the Netherlands hadn't really done that much, and Argentina hadn't, in all fairness, and it wasn't the most fluid of halves, but the Dutch would need to create a lot more in the second half if they're going to get something out of this. It wasn't the greatest performance. I think they made 2 substitutions at half-time, and it's certainly a little bit better from the Dutch in the second half, but still Argentina had the better of the attacks. And on 71 minutes, Hakuna Matata himself was brought down in the box. It looks like it might have been on the line or just inside. Certainly a penalty anyway. He just clumsily tried to... He turned the player, and obviously the player just clumsily fouled him. And it was a penalty to Argentina, and Messi just slotted it home to make it 2-0. And yes, it all went to pot when Alvarez went off. 82 minutes, Alvarez gets arrested. He's subbed. A quieter game for Alvarez. No goals, of course. But I thought he was quite impressive in what he does. He takes a lot of the minds off other players. Like, you can see him creating space all the time as he will for City, and he does for City, and he does exactly the same for Argentina. So although he's not active as in touching the ball sometimes, he does actually have that involvement, which worries defences, of course. So, yeah, quite a game, but certainly a busy, good performance. And I fully expect him to start the next game, that's for sure. Yeah, but a minute after, yeah, it's 2-1. So there you go. Take a City player off. It was happening with Gundogan, wasn't it? Every time we took Gundo off for Germany, someone scored. But yeah, a minute later, a simple cross, a good cross into the box, and a glancing header from the 8'6". Well, all right, he's not quite as tall as that, but the Weghorst made it 2-1. And it was no less than they deserved, because Argentina just sat back really in that second half and not really tried to. After that second goal went in, that was it. They were happy. They were, but they're not. There's not a team, I don't think, in this World Cup. Perhaps Morocco come close to it, who've looked comfortable defending, and Argentina are no different. So at 2-0, you've got to try and put it to bed, and they just accepted it. And Brazil paid the penalty obviously early on for doing a similar sort of thing. Argentina eventually got away with it, but it could have gone the other way. 89 minutes, yeah. I mean, we had a bit of trouble throughout it. We've got that awful referee who's ref City, of course, who ref City in the Champions League final against Chelsea. Just an awful referee, and I think he ended up making 14 bookings in total. But anyway, I think it followed a foul on Aki in the 89th minute, and I think it's Paredes. Just whacked the ball. There's no one. He didn't hit anyone. He just whacked it at the bench at the seats where the subs were, and obviously all the subs were on the pitch. I mean, lack of control. I mean, what are the managers doing as well? There's no control from the managers for international teams. Do the managers not have any sort of say in what his players are doing? Just pathetic. He did kick off 2 or 3 times after that as well, but not good to see. I don't want to see that sort of thing. 10 minutes injury time, and in the 111th minute, yeah, a brilliant free kick. I mean, to have the audacity and calmness to produce a free kick like that in literally your last attempt to actually rescue the game was superb. All credit to him. A clever free kick to Weghorst. He took one touch, took it past the defender and put it past the keeper. Absolutely stunning free kick. Well done, the Netherlands, for that. Extra time, yeah, we had players facing up to each other again on the pitch. So we had the 14 bookings, and we were back to a little bit of a tentative start that first half of extra time, and it only really started to liven up about 5 minutes of the second half of extra time to go, where Argentina realised we could go out on penalties here. We better make an effort. And of course, Fernandez hits the post in the very last minute in the outside of the post. So there you go, and it went to penalty. It finished 2-2 in normal time. 90 minutes XG at XG Philosophy. Netherlands was 0.71. Argentina was 1.54. 120 minutes, the Netherlands was 0.75 and Argentina was 1.96. So it went to penalties, and the Netherlands, not the greatest start. The first 2 were saved by the keeper who loves wasting time, doesn't he? He didn't waste much time in this one. That's what I like about this new timekeeping thing. Even if it isn't all added on, the players at the back of the minds is that they shouldn't be wasting time, because it'll all get added on at the end. So it's working superbly for me. I want to see it. I really love to see this time thing, because I say it's affecting what players do as well. And the goalkeeper wasn't wasting much time in this game, which at 2-0 up, he would have been taking 2 minutes over a goal kick, wouldn't he? So yeah, they missed the first 2. Argentina scored the first 2. It only seemed inevitable, and obviously they went 3. Netherlands managed to score the next 3. So obviously Argentina did have to take all the penalties. One was missed, and unfortunately went wide, but they managed to win the penalty shootout 4-3, and a little bit fortunate to get through. Yeah, we mentioned Alvarez. Aki, excellent game by Aki. I mean, a lot of time he was marking Messi as well. It wasn't 1-on-1, of course. It was probably 2 or 3-on-1, but he did have seems to have that sort of responsibility. And of course, he pushed up a little bit further in the second half. But I think he did extremely well, Aki. I thought Aki had a cracking game against Messi. And just a little word on Otamendi as well. He was what a unit. He was standout for Argentina. Not everything worked for him, which is bound to. He's got an occasion. I think there's one where he headed up just straight up in the air, but a fantastic effort. Certainly when Netherlands put the big lads on up front. No, Otamendi was quite impressive. I'm very impressed with that. So there you go. Argentina did get away with it in the end on penalties. But yeah, just like the Brazilian neighbours, he sat, but they didn't. Once he got a couple of goals ahead. I mean, Brazil did it with just a goal ahead. But we know Brazil aren't the greatest at defending. All right, Alisson's not bad, but as a team, they're not that great. So you can't do that. because you're playing an international team. You can't just assume you're going to win 1-0 or 2-0, with 15, 20, 45 minutes left, whatever's left. You've got to try and finish the game off as well. Just to leave you like that, a big mistake. At this level of football, it's a big mistake. So there you go. We know our first semi-final, Tuesday the 13th of December at the Lusail Stadium. So back to where this game was last night. Croatia versus Argentina. And of course, we'll find out who the next semi-final is very soon. So join me for the World Cup update. And of course, we'll look back at the games, including England, of course. And let's see if any of our boys are coming on. We'll see. Thanks for watching. Let me know your views, guys. It'd be great to hear from you. Till we meet again, I'll ask one thing, Noah. Please stay safe, everyone. Bye for now.